Oh, you thought this was a game, huh? Oh, you slept, you missed the range, huh? I don't switch sides, still the same, huh? 101 is for my name, huh? Told you this is not a game. Done playing, time to live up to my name. Cuss them off, they said I changed, they just ain't keep up to pace. In my lane, go time, sun or rain. Oh, you thought this was a game? This is not a game.
Welcome back, guys and girls, to the channel. Today is a long-awaited thing that I have been waiting for like 3 years already, to build an engine. We got the block. It is assembled already. I got my Webers here and a special intake back here. You might not be able to see it past me. We'll go here. Fully built head. We've got long tube header. We've got a custom camshaft and every part to make the motor for the 1973 Celica brand new. It doesn't look like it's been hot tanked, but I think it sat too long, so I'm gonna have to take some rust off there before I paint it. But we're gonna be assembling this motor today. We'll check out the parts right away, but let's get into this. Let's get her done. We're gonna be driving it this summer, hopefully. So let's go through the parts we got on this thing. These are Weber 45s, and I'm told this is a Canon intake manifold from the 80s. You guys have seen these parts. Just to recap, this is the carburetor side. They've been port matched to fit those carbs, and it's been port matched to the head. Let's not drop that. Of course, we got some Starbucks iced coffee. So we got a long tube header here. It's gonna have to get modified because I got a rack and pinion steering. Bunch of parts painted. Got some fun color scheme going on, just so you guys get an idea. That's a timing cover. And as you can see, brand new Weber 45s. This is the head. So on here, Pollock Gearheads Machining has done all the work. These are b-hive springs and retainers from Comp Cams. It'll help with running the high RPMs. Because the cam I got is from American Custom Cam. It's a stage 2 street strip cam. Supposed to make power from 22,000 or 2,500 RPM all the way up to 7,500. So we're revving out pretty high. So I asked him to make this thing flow, and he's reworked. He's done a valve job. He's put hardened valve seats in. It's an 18RC head. Or not an 18RC. It's an 8RC head, which is higher compression than the 18RC one that came on this block. So yeah, he's done hardened valve seats. He's done a port and polish. He's reworked the combustion chambers to deshroud the valves. And yeah, opened up all the ports. So you guys won't be able to see much of it here, but trust me, it's done. We'll flip this over here. So you can see where he's done his work here. He's opened her up. I said, but you're taking stuff away. We're going to be losing power, like compression ratio. He said it'll be better to lose a bit of the compression ratio and have the valves deshrouded. So he's worked them in here and in here, and you can see up in here a little bit, all in the name of making it flow. And inside the bowls, I don't know if we can see that, he's reworked that too. So you can see inside the ports, they're majorly reworked. He's worked way down inside there. This thing is gonna flow as good as it can for what it is. I'm sorry, it's hard to tell, but right around there too, he's got it all flowing awesome. So I'm really curious if we can get some power to this.
This is not a game.
So yeah, here you can see the b-hive springs now that we got it on its side. Also got a ton of stuff powder coated. This is a little bit dusty already from sitting for so long, but that's part of my paint scheme. And I contemplated a lightweight flywheel, but I just had Paul machine this thing flat. I wanted drivability as well. I wasn't sure if I was ready to go lightweight at this point. What else do we got here? So, brand new clutch kit, brand new timing kit, starters rebuilt, alternators rebuilt. This is machined, and we got a brand new oil pickup in this guy here, and our comp cam, or our American custom cam. I got a pretty good deal on eBay. So this block, I didn't film any of it, at least I don't think I did, because I was kind of in a I don't feel like filming mode when we were building this about a year ago. Me and Tony assembled this. So the whole rotating assembly is in here. It's got brand new pistons. It's bored out 30 over because it had to be, and that's the pistons I could get. Parts are getting harder to get. So yeah, block is ready to be assembled. I'm probably going to take some of this, tape it up and take some of the rust off here before we get into this if I have time. Alrighty, I cleaned this thing down. I don't know if we got any wheel left to show here. I had a bunch of these and I bought two skinny ones. The thick ones and the skinny work well together, actually using them in combination. But it had a lot of surface rust, so I cleaned it up the best I could. My thought was I don't really want to use anything on here when we go and it's assembled. I'm going to be masking everything off. After it's assembled, I'll clean it with acetone one more time, and then we'll spray the block and you'll get to see the color at that point. But just to show you guys, I masked off everything so nothing would get dusty in there. It's been blown off. Now I wiped it once with acetone. I'm gonna pull it off and wipe wherever the tape was gently with some microfiber and acetone. All right, wiped everything down, acetone with microfiber, and I'm ready to have Tony to help me at this point. I'll go under his expert guidance. But came out pretty good, I would say. I'll be epoxy priming it, so this will work very nicely.
Yeah, so it looks like that will clear.
Whoa,
Here.
there's some dirt in here. Is that gonna matter? Probably not.
No.
Okay.
No, remember metal is stronger than dirt.
Yeah. The sand is fine too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and this head actually I haven't even test fitted. I'm only going off research.
Mm-hmm.
But I think everything matches. Like the gasket should match on both ends then, right? Technically, this should fit.
Oh yeah, actually that's a good way.
This should.
So really, where we're looking for.
Whoa.
That's okay. I can sit there. What we're looking for is this. If it's going to contact, it's going to be here.
Yeah.
So we're looking for I guess from the bolt holes, looking for about 2.5 to 3 inches over.
And this gasket fits though, is what I was wondering.
So, do you have a marker?
I'll get, yeah, right here.
Oh, do you ever?
And I've all kept them down. Hey Tony, can you explain what we're doing here? My smiley faces.
I've never done this before either, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But we're checking the valve to piston clearance. So we're gonna put the head on, put the camshaft in, rockers in, set the lash, I guess. Just do it like a rough set, and then we're going to rotate the engine over with some Play-Doh on top of the pistons, and then however far the valves press into the Play-Doh, we cut that away and measure the thickness of the Play-Doh. Mm-hmm. That gives you your clearance. We're basically trying to make sure that we're not going to have valve to piston overlap or whatever, like because you've got different pistons, a different head, and a different camshaft. There's no saying for sure whether it'll work or whether
cross your fingers, right?
Yeah, if it doesn't, take these back out and you get them fly cut or whatever.
Just zip a couple holes in here, right?
Yeah, or we could just take a grinder while it's sitting here, you know.
Wouldn't take much, right?
Yeah.
The metal shavings are fine too, eh? It's just aluminum soft.
Helps the braking procedure happen a little faster. We'll get real quick here at putting this head on and taking it back off.
Yeah. If we don't see metal shining through, then we've won.
Mm-hmm. If it rotates all the way, we've probably already won.
Yeah. I'm gonna dump all my gaskets.
There you go.
So it gets warm real fast, eh?
The sucky thing is, we're gonna, here, let me make a mark here. We're on TDC right now, right? Well, actually, yeah, we know we are because of where this is.
Sucky thing is this chain, right?
Because after we rotated a couple rotations, unless we always rotate it back, we won't know whether we're back on the mark.
Yeah. So would be nice to have a bore. Actually, could we just put a bore scope in there?
No, because the head will have to come right off again. So that.
But you won't be able to see with a bore scope if they're touching.
Oh, if this is.
Yeah.
We could just drill a hole here. Cut a big access plate.
Yeah, this would be good.
Tape it up when we're done. No, what I'm thinking of doing is when we have everything ready and it's all good, then making a mark, TDC mark here.
Yeah.
Before we start rotating it, making a TDC mark on this.
It should have one for the timing.
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
And then making a mark where this cam is supposed to be. Then even if this rotates, as long as this mark and this mark line up,
so
it doesn't matter where the chain is.
So about a nail polish or something on there, hey?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe it's still in the box here from him.
This would be, Brazier would have this if anybody. This is close.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Like the gasket?
Yeah.
Well, because it's bored dirty over though.
Yeah. Normally you just go stock gasket. This is very close.
Maybe. Oh, here we go.
Okay.
It was hiding under the flap of the cardboard.
Good. Very good.
Now we're good to roll.
Yeah.
So, okay, so head and gasket, I guess?
Yep.
Hey, where's the gasket?
I put that on.
Oh. There, I think we're golden.
Alright. Now let's try putting the head on.
Okay.
Let's flip it up.
Oh.
Sorry.
You want to make sure it's not dirty.
Yeah.
Okay. That grit, I guess, could be bad in the long run, hey?
Yeah.
There.
You like the scraping motion we did?
That's pretty good. Well, all of that has to be done now, hey?
Yeah.
We could probably tighten this down, but it wants the cam in there too, so...
We have to take this out to get the cam in.
And then I think I've cleaned the rocker ones, so should we just use these clean ones on the Rego here? Okay. And then they're labeled and they have direction is what I was reading. So then
So we're taking them off and putting this all in like precisely as it Comes off.
Okay. Where's the knife blade now?
There's one there.
Actually, this should be open now. Yeah. Okay. So it's a good idea to drop this on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, silly.
I see what happened there. Okay,
Get you in
do we need to wipe this down?
trouble.
It's got a grease on there. Does that matter?
No, we don't need to wipe it down.
Okay, I'm going to.
We need the cam bearings now.
Yeah, I'm gonna set this.
You saw what I did there?
Yeah. We won't mention that the grease goes after you put the bearings in, hey?
Yeah.
Okay. Which was the cam? This is spark plugs. I think this was them here. Let me double check. Cam. That would probably mean camshaft, hey? Okay, I don't want to wreck these.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you handle them, it's the best bet because we only have one set. I'm inexperienced.
Okay. So thrust bearing. Right, you have little recesses, machine pieces here.
Yeah, and there was one end one, it said. That's the one you got there.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, you said to put them in kind of level and the rest is a bit of a squish. We also have to check with the plastic gauge now.
We're going to do the head check first.
Okay.
We'll do the plastic gauge just before we pull back out. So you can continue.
Okay, can I have that one? I find it amazing that the oil's enough to keep these parts from wearing out instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are good. Now, Mr. Cam.
This is the cam gear.
Yeah,
Okay.
I believe so.
And it has the mark here, so it goes this way on the mark, right? Is that what your picture showed?
I don't remember. I have to go read it. Do you need to get it on the side edges?
No.
Okay. I saw how much you put, so I'm gonna just copy that. It's just focusing on the engine itself.
Alright.
We need the chain, right?
Yeah. Well, we gotta take this out real soon anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much.
That's not on the shaft of the screwdriver now.
Okay, good. You can take this. None of the bearing caps came with this time.
Well, that's what you're looking for?
Yeah.
Good man.
So we just did a light torque.
Yeah.
I went to 50 foot-pounds, so that our final torque will tighten them down more. So we're not crushing our gasket fully.
Yeah, you don't want to destroy it, right?
Yeah, because I don't want to have it fully formed to the size it is.
Well, that gear has to come out and we have to pinch it again.
Uh-huh.
Good thing I ordered all these fun parts, eh?
Yeah.
You know what would not make my day is if our Play-Doh was told they squished it.
Squished to nothing.
I don't know what we do. I guess I gotta get them
I guess on the bright side, that would mean you'll probably have a funny idle.
In what way? You're joking now, kind of a joke,
Like
right?
a vroom, vroom, vroom. No, I'm serious. Like the thinner it is,
Yeah.
the more
It should have a battle idle. Like it should sound like a Subaru when it's done.
rolling.
Because when this is actually, it said it would hold its tension, and we're just being cautious, right?
Yeah, and we do have these marks to go off of. So this
Yeah,
is
as long as we don't rotate the motor now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could probably pull it out then. Oh shoot! I got our table full.
Oh, not even touching it, hey?
Did we miss?
I don't think so. Did I do the wrong side?
Oh, hang on. Let's see. Oh, our cap.
No, I did the right side.
Is there any Play-Doh marks on there?
Does that thing have that much clearance? No wonder they don't make power.
We did our test. You can see where the combustion chamber touches here, and you can see the valve just nicking it here.
Yeah.
So
That's right. That's a valve spot right there. Yeah.
So what's your measurement on that with the tape
we don't
measure?
even need to measure
No.
it, but we've got like
A centimeter?
quarter inch clearance. And
Yeah.
I think normally they're looking for 30 or 40 thousandths.
Okay, so we can peel these out of here, eh?
Yeah.
We could leave them in. Do you think they'd come out?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think they would.
The
Would they plug up your cat?
With the one that it doesn't need one.
That's right.
I don't know. I can go check with her and see if she'd be plugged up. All right, plastic gauges.
Yep.
Little stringy guys. I feel like getting in close on this would be good.
Sure.
I don't really want to be the guy messing this up.
We'll drop all this
You want
grease
this?
on there.
The oil here?
The grease will help it stay in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
This at least shows we did it and somebody doesn't ask, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just so interesting to me that such a rudimentary tool is so important in this process.
Yeah. And they don't recommend it nowadays, but you can still use it. And like I still prefer it over measuring
Yeah,
because you're measuring everything at once.
makes sense. There's a,
So anytime a tool is kind of hard to use,
yeah.
oh, I should.
There's a 1, 2, 3, 4 on these caps, I believe.
Yeah, I've got that.
Oh, okay.
But what I need to do is offset these a little bit because they've got the oil port in the middle, and then I won't get a very good reading.
Oh, so all of them that way?
That one's good.
Okay. And you want them reading out of the middle is what you're saying?
Hmm?
You want the reading out of the middle?
I want
of-
the full width of it because I'm worried about, like you can also have, let's say we mixed up the caps somehow,
Yeah.
then you might have like a top that reads different, or like one side reading different than the other side or something like that.
And they're about to become very important now at this point once we torque them down, hey? Where they sit.
Yeah, so now we're gonna torque them and
And check them.
check them. And you want to do that? Or
Sure.
Yeah, you can do that. So just
So thread them all on. Get them.
pink color is kind of cool.
You do like it now?
Yeah.
Nice. I just wanted something so off the wall, you know. It's going a long ways.
Do the front one.
What?
Okay, let me try. Do the other one.
You tried it? I hope it's not spinning in the hole there. All right, this is kind of significant. While we were torquing things down, this is one of the bolt. You can see that it's wrong, and we had 3 wrong ones in here. I had to go pull out of my parts motor, which has been helpful, but this guy here wouldn't torque, so then Tony figured it'd be good to change, because you can see that's how much it's stretched. So someone's put the wrong hardware in there, hey?
Yeah, and then the other one, this one, we just started to feel a little funny, and like it was only in 3 threads,
Yeah.
so it's a bit of a short one. You see how much shorter it is than the one Devin has there.
So who knows who's...
Oh no, this one's just stretched that much.
Who knows
Okay,
who's... Yeah, you can see how much it's stretched. I've never experienced that. Have you experienced that in a motor?
Yeah, I've seen it. That was pretty close to breaking there. So.
And then we would have had a bad day, hey?
Yeah, that's right. Well, no, if it broke, we probably could have just spun this out. Like, we just would have had to drill and or weld something. But it would have been doable, but we saved a little bit of time by stopping just before it broke.
Sweet. So we got everything up to this point assembled. Timing stuff is done. Tony adjusts all the valve lash and the oil tube on. The cam it's all torqued down here. Spark plugs are just hand tight to keep the dust off. I got a little bit more to do at this point before we paint it. So next thing I gotta install is this cam cover. We'll take a break from the time lapse here for a sec. I had this and this powder coated by the same guy at Leckerman Fab. He does really good custom powder coating work. And then Bob was down one evening and we wanted to do something quick and easy, so we prepped this thing and I just sprayed it with a crinkle black, kind of give it the look of an 18RG head that you might see. I like it, and then we just sanded this down. So we're gonna run this for now, and in the works, something I might run, I might not, it needs a flange yet, is this guy. So I'll throw it on the engine, and you guys can have a quick preview of what that might look like. So I was going for a sheet aluminum welded style big block Chevy style, I guess, or whatever. You know, like you see those aftermarket cam covers or valve covers on the muscle cars, and I seen aftermarket covers that I didn't like for these, and this is kind of, I want to imitate what I'd seen. So yeah, we need a flange, and I haven't welded anything, so this could be an option that I could run too. I get feedback. Oh, this is pushed in a little bit. It's just tape holding it together. But I get feedback going either way. A lot of guys like that cam cover, and not many people have seen this one. So we'll see what I'm feeling. This is only going to go on when the motor's in the car, so I can check clearances. I want to actually break the engine in with that cover because that's designed for it. We'll make sure we have the right baffling and the right PCV type stuff on here. So you can see it's just taped together. But I'm pretty excited about the look of that. It's come out pretty clean. So I wanted to dress up the mounting on specifically these studs here. So I've got some stainless M8 by 1.25 thread pitch acorn nuts. They should look, well, they do look awesome. So I'm going to install those right away. Right, it is installed, and I think these cork gaskets must be really old. It's kind of split in half, so we put a little it's not as nice as I would have liked to have mounted it. There's an extra bit of sealant on this one and the other side because I was trying to get it on. It just literally split, and I figured we'll run it. If it leaks oil, we'll change it, and I've got the right stuff. I think I have it in the time lapse. I've got this stuff on the top of the gasket. I phoned one of my good friends, Brian, and he watches the channel quite a bit. And he said put it on the one side of the gasket, but not the block side. So if you have to take the cam cover off, you don't want cleaning up a messy mess. But we ended up having to get a little bit in there. So it'll be a bit of a messy mess cleaning if and when we replace it. But I want to run it, and we'll run with this for now. All right, so I figured if the cam cover gasket doesn't fit, we probably gonna have some other problems. And let's check this out. The oil pan one definitely does not fit. So check that out. If I line this up here, you can tell it's been shrinking because each curve it's pulling in a funny curve. But that's how much too short. This never would have worked. We could have sealed it up with the right stuff that I've been using, or an RTV. But oil pan doesn't come off, and you know you're gonna be upset if you ever have to service it. So then I called every shop in town, and nobody had the 1/8 inch gasket in this size that I needed until I got to Canadian Tire. They were like the last shop on my list, and we got new Felpro gasket. So there is a plus. I mean, I'm gonna have to make this, but the plus is this is the rubber cork stuff from Felpro. So this will do a much better sealing job, and there will be extra in here if I need to make a fresh one for here. So that's the benefits. This other one here seems to still fit to some degree, but we may just trace it and make a new one out of the more modern material. This is for the block huff plate, but that'll still work. Yeah, so there's that. Problem solved, crisis averted. Well, I had the brand new spark plugs in the block, and then I had a thought, and Bob and I kind of came up with this. I'll pull these out of the old head. I'll clean them up a little bit, just to get the grease off of them. I'll thread them in here, don't torque them too tight. Then I'll just paint right over them, then I'll unthread them, and then it'll be exactly bare metal where it needs to be. So we got the engine back there, and I was gonna finish assembling it, and then I realized I have to put the main seal on the back, which I can't get to, it's on the stand. So I needed that to put the oil pan on, and then I was gonna put all the other accessories on, mask it and paint it. But I did watch on Haggerty, I think his name's Davin, if I'm saying that right, hopefully. He has a good tutorial on how to paint blocks, and he goes epoxy, base, clear coat, just like I was planning on doing. And he'll put his gaskets on, trace them, and then go a little bit smaller than the gasket for the masking so that you have no exposed edges. And that's what I'm gonna do. I think it'll work really good. Everything is masked up. There's a couple spots here where it's not wanting to stick very well. It might be a little bit oily. I'll just have to be careful while I'm painting. I might come in and redo them, but the rest of it seems to be working good. The oil pan is not on it at the moment, and these are all just a little bit smaller than the actual gasket. So I think that'll work well. We won't have any exposed edges, hopefully. So I guess I'm going to go in for the night, and tomorrow we'll get ready and we'll paint it, is the goal. So it is all masked off. I've done the chemical clean first with brake clean, then with pre-clean 0900. And there's no point in tacking it, it'll be a matte clear. These rags here that I was wiping with were fraying, as were microfibers, so I gave it a good blow off. And we're going to hit it now with some epoxy primer, and I'm going to be using this stuff here. The E250 DTM epoxy primer black or gray. We'll decide which one I feel like pulling out of here. I think black might hide crevices a little bit better and imperfections, so I think we'll do that. So picking colors is not something you take lightly, especially me. And I thought a lot about what color to put on the engine of this car. And it is a bit of a show car at this point, one which I intend to also drive. But black ran through my mind, but that's pretty basic and that's more like race engine. Then I thought, like originally put the original color on, but it's like a turquoise, kind of like Pontiac engine turquoise. That would clash. So what I ended up doing was buying some matte clear, and I'm gonna spray this thing body color, but spray it matte or like not shiny. and I think it should be a nice contrast and still kind of keep it looking pretty showy. So that's what we're about to go do. We'll put a base on, we've done the epoxy, and then we'll hit it with the matte clear after. So I used the matrix base, the same that was on my blue silica. And now we're gonna go the matrix MS130LV. It's a matte clear coat. It's got the look I was hoping for. It looks very pretty. I hope I can keep it that way while we continue to work on it and install it. But I'm gonna hit a time lapse and we'll get this thing stripped. Hopefully there's not too much blow through on the top. But man, it got late. I think I figured I went in here, got the kids to bed. Then I came in here around 10:45, 11. I figured 1 hour done, but it took a little longer because there was dry time. So epoxy, 2 coats. First coat wasn't quite enough coverage over some of the more textured stuff. I want to make sure I was covered. Then that there was 10 minutes dry between, but then I had to wait. Once I read the instructions, it said 30 minutes, but then it was still tacky, so then I went 45 minutes total dry time. Then 3 coats of base, because first coat didn't cover enough, second coat, because we're going over black, took a bit. Third coat was perfect. And then 2 coats of matte clear, and there's some more dry time in between that. So it took a bit, but it's done, and looks pretty cool. I wish this little TEQ Toyota logo was kind of like right here, would be awesome, because you can't see it on this side. But let's strip it. Alright, so I got an old head here. It's the one that came off the engine that we're building. It's the 18 RC head. Everything's the same except the combustion chamber and the valves. And as far as the head goes, I was doing a quick mock-up on, I have the intake and the exhaust header here. I was mocking that up and I realized they don't fit each other. So we're going to bolt this to the side of this thing, and I'm going to have to clearance both of those items a little bit. So yeah, that's what's going to happen now. So if you look in here, I've done Sharpie here and here. Here I could probably take this much off, but this one here, I'm thinking I'll shave off a bit of this point because we get really thin otherwise. Because where it needs to sit is about here and here. So I gotta shave them, and we'll do that, and then we'll kind of get this thing mocked up onto the head here. So intake manifold fits now. You can see we've made clearance in there, there, and that one hiding right by my finger there. and I really don't like this design of shared stuff. But I guess that's how it's gonna have to be. Getting these bolts in will be the fun part. So I ordered these washers to go with this, but we have a different system that's gonna go in here. I think I have a use for them. Check that out. This is supposed to be the tab where this washer catches on and made flush. You can probably see the issue. So what I'm thinking is I will cut the old one off and weld this on. So we have this sitting flush here, and this sits. That will be pretty good. And then I can grind it if I need to, and I'll cut it down to shape. So I think that's what I'm gonna attempt here. So you can kind of see what I've done here. I've welded the washer onto the header, and I held it in place with the nuts. We're letting it cool down this way. And then what I'm gonna do is come along from the back side and grind these to match the profile of what's there. So that way it holds as much as possible on the header side, not just some little tab that was almost just on the edge of it. All right, so this thing's off. This is where I've welded the washers. Now we're gonna flip it. You can see where I need to grind this down to have it match the exhaust flange profile so that the intake manifold will still bolt up with that. All right, so final result. This one needed a little bit of grinding here, but now I'm gonna slide this guy on here. If you look at it, now we have an even mounting surface. It's kind of silly to have that have a gap behind the flange. I don't understand. Maybe it should be there and it's on all headers just to help seat it. And these ones you won't see as well, but they're down in there. So yeah, that'll work. All right, we have a win, a big win. Now this will all work nicely together. The bolts are actually holding each other properly. This one doesn't have much of a tab on the aluminum here, but trust me, it's holding. And underneath, they are properly holding too. So, I'm glad I had this cylinder head to do the test fits on. Things are getting hard to find on some of this old stuff. I think this came out of Australia or New Zealand. I found it on eBay. And I like that it has a brand new everything on it. The fan can bolt to this. Yeah, so I've had this powder coated to my color scheme. This new unit came with a new gasket as well. So that's a brand new water pump internals going into the housing there. And I also like that it's all up front, easy to change. So for future, if we can get them. Well, little progress update here. Things are looking good. I should say this was done and this one in a powder coat, as well as this. And I think this piece here and a whole drawer of color match goodies, all by Leckham and Fab. So those are all going on the motor and on the motor. I've started dressing it. We've got engine mounts on both sides. I went to go put this mount on, and I'm glad I got a parts motor behind the shop because this one was missing the whole stud and all the threads are cracked inside. I don't know how you do that taking off a filter. Yeah, so new filter, new wires. We're gonna put electronic ignition in here. Plugs are gapped a little tighter. Brand new fuel pump, and thought I had everything, but then I had to order this piece here. I wanted a new oil sensor, pressure sensor, and I had ordered one, but I needed one with that was for gauge, not switch. I didn't realize that. So that's going on there, same parts. This side here, looking pretty good. The water pump was done by Leckham and Fab as well. So the intake stuff will go on, but I have to cut this so the header fits. and the header has to go on before the intake. We want to see that, even though it's not staying on, it's going to come off to go in the car. But I want to steel this up. So we got a couple things going on there. And somehow I got lucky with the color matched. We're going to put a little filter on here. And then I've got a new PCV valve coming. May as well have that be as best as it can be. Original hose cleaned up because I'm not sure if I can get them anymore, but it cleaned up pretty nice. As long as it's not too hard, we can get it on there. And in order to do PCV on this thing, I studied some other guys' pictures. It looks like some are running into the brake port and some are just running an air filter. I don't want to do that. So we're going to tap this out. I open this up, we're going to tap it out, and I'm reusing a port off of this manifold here. It's out here. It's just on the other desk right now. So let's go. And there it is, tapped in place. A little bit of sealant in there so we don't have any gasket, or I guess vacuum leaks would be more like it. So I'm not looking forward to modifying that header to fit my steering rack. That is aftermarket. And I'm glad that Canadian Tire had a blue filter. It kind of ties in nicely with the engine. This thing's looking sharp. All right, alternator's on. I am really liking the colors. That's a matte metallic gray. I had that powder coated by Lechman Fab as well. And then it's also being rebuilt. So basically I sent it to him in pieces. He powder coated it and I brought it away. The starter is actually done to match too. I brought that to Start and Charge in town here, and they went over it and they said, well, since it's for your show car, we'll paint this to match the car as well. So everything is color matched. It's cool. Okay, we're rolling. So this is the old gasket. I think we showed it earlier in this video, and I'm building a new one here. The razor blade's still in it, but these things shrink over time, guys. This was a brand new kit that's probably really old. That's how much too small this thing is. So I'm also happy because this is the rubber infused cork. So you can see I've started cutting it here. All we did was lay the oil pan over. Bob's here helping me out. Yeah. We're doing his stuff and my stuff same evening. So I'm just cutting this. And then I bought a hole punch set. Now I have that so I can pop these guys out. So gasket is done. Worked out super good, and I'm actually happy to have that. It's got the rubber infused cork and these little punches. I got them on sale at Napa. That was a win. I would have tried this as a drill bit and it just would have sucked. So we're going to install this in a minute. I want to clean out the pan. And you keep finding that I'm losing bolts. Like I had enough to do part of it, but not all of it. So I have no idea where these things are ending up. So we are going to go now and grab those items from the bench, the header and the intake and the gasket. We're going to put it all on here. And something me and Tony were talking about is he hooked me up with these. They're by Dorman. There's part number here. But they're Caterpillar exhaust manifold studs. And he said this would be a much better option, having this, because it has better clamping force with the same torque value. So what I'm seeing is they're going to go in about this long. And I'm going to have to, I'll keep this length here on these. But these middle ones are going to have to go in and then get cut down a bit. I know it's got these mounting things on the end here, but I can use two nuts to like jam together to thread them in and off. I'll put a little bit of, I bought some copper based stuff like I've seen other guys doing. This is what I'll be using here. Anti-seize copper coat. And that's what I've observed others using as well. they are. I'm kind of feeling excited about this. But before we fit the header, I actually have to cut the engine stand because it wants to touch here a little bit. But we'll get that fit up right away. All right, now we are starting to look pretty cool. I just taped this up to keep this from burning. I knew I would have to cut some of these studs down, and thankfully it's only that one and that one. You can see the fitment in there and the reason why I had to do that. But the rest, they all clear. All right, so this is the most excited I've been about this whole build, is putting the header on here. I did have to cut the engine stand. Now I'm going to be up to installing the carburetors. And these are Weber 45s. I believe they are 36mm chokes, and then Weber tests them and pairs the Venturis, or I don't know what those things are called in there, the jets, but I have a jet kit to fine tune it. But this will be our startup tune in a sense, most likely is what I'm thinking. I called Redline Weber, they said it should be good to get this engine broke in. So we're going to install these guys. And along with this, I got the soft mount kits for those of you who are wanting to do the same build, which will be very few of you. They are W0842N02 and the Weber part number, it looks like it's 99005.145. And then I got these sweet little guys here, they're heat shields. All right, so these are mounted, and this will all come off to install. We got the soft mounts, they go in here. I had to trim this thing down a little bit because the clearance is pretty tight here. This PCV line is going to run here. We do have throttle linkage, but I'm not going to mount this one because, well, look at it, it's old and rusty. We'll order a new one. I think I'm going to get potentially taller posts because it's slightly interfering with the PCV line. You can see where I've put the fitting in there. So I have a new PCV coming. This water neck is going to be coming. Got the header in there. You can see the heat shields underneath there. You saw me have to take them off so that I could get the bolts back here in. You can't get to them when these are on. And these ones are a little hard to get off with a full-length screwdriver. So this thing will get coated yet, but I think it has to be modified to clear my steering shaft for the rack and pinion out of the MR2. Yeah. So I think this is as far as we're going to take this. You guys get the idea here. And we're gonna have to install this thing in the car in the near future. And as a bonus, I get to get rid of almost everything in this corner here. Start putting FJ40 parts that are there, can go in this shelf and we'll have space cleared up. Well, that's that. This thing is mostly assembled to the point where it's pretty close to being ready to put in the car. I gotta find one more stud that fits properly. One of the soft mount washer springy things, whatever you call them, isn't actually on here. It's just bolted solid onto there. I think it looks sweet. It's kind of how I envisioned this thing looking. I gotta pick a header color now. I want to buy some Cerakote to Cerakote this thing and get that on order, so when I have it modified I can paint that up. We'll probably pull the steering shaft when it's in the car to break it in. I think these trumpets are actually going to be too long, so they'll have to get shorter ones ordered probably, but they have the length because we got to clear, well, the brake master cylinder I think will be interfering with for sure this one, maybe this one. But I'm waiting to hear this thing growl. It should be pretty good. And it should give me a lot of headaches tuning these, so I got to do my research now. I've got a kit also that changes this fitting so that I can run it one line to the next kind of thing. So there's that. Yeah, this thing is coming along. It's been 3 years in the works because I've been waiting 3 years on machine work, and Paul got this done for me at the end there with the head work. So I'm very curious to see if we've got something that is half decent. If I've made 130 horsepower with it, I'm right up even with an 18RG, which is kind of being my whole point, is to show you guys that yes, you can build this thing way more affordable than an 18RG, because a lot of you guys with early Celicas will have an 18RC if you're in North America, and you might as well make something of it, have some fun with it, because I've done this. I did not have to buy the engine, I just had to source parts. The hardest part is finding this intake manifold, which I'm sure you could make, but everything else is available here. Yeah, so if it runs good, it may be something you want to do. You can also make them look good. Oh, and remember this. This is the cam cover that I'm working on for this, that I may or may not finish depending how I feel about that in the long run, but this is going to go up on there. So yeah, we may have a future episode. I've filmed everything up to this point on this, but I don't have the flange made. So there, if I decide to finish it, we'll get an episode on this as well. And as always, get in your shop, get your stuff done, and thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you later. Bye.